Hi Matty, great to see you again on Saturday. When you put the lesson in, you voiced a concern regarding the movement into your right hip at the start of your backswing. You described it as a little bit of a shuffle, and we can see there that there's a definite movement off the ball into that right hip as you start back. A little bit of a sway, if you will. Now some players do that, and you need that to try and keep your movement fluid during the early part of your swing. It's very hard to make a nice smooth swing from a static address position. So it's a little bit of a, like Phil Mickelson has with his putting, a little bit of a forward press or a little bit of a bump into your right side. VJ kicks his right knee in. I don't think we necessarily need to get rid of that, but one way we can help reduce that is by just flowing the feet out a little bit more at setup, which is more the way you naturally stand. What tends to happen is when you're towing at setup, when you're very square with your feet, it makes it more difficult for you to rotate in the early part of your swing, and if you can't rotate, you're going to tend to slide. So, don't get too bogged down in that, but if you just alter the foot flare at setup, that'll help reduce that tendency. My main concern from the lesson was this position at the top. Tremendous amount of wrist hinge at the top. If we look at the angle established between the shaft of the golf club and the left arm, way too severe. But that angle then, because of the strength in your wrists and your forearms, through the job that you do, is maintained for a long time during the downswing. That means that through the hitting area, you've got to get rid of a lot of angles at the last minute. Now that requires a lot of coordination. If you look there, nearly 3/4 of the way into your downswing, the wrists are still fully cocked. So that's not going to breed consistent golf, because like I said, you've got to be really on your game to time that release, to time that getting rid of the angles. Okay, so if we just take you back to the top and stop you there and have a little look at the exercise we've got you to work on, which was setting up with your left foot touching a wall, just making a few backswings. What we start to see here is a much more orthodox top of the backswing position. As we joked about, that's like something out of a training manual. That's absolutely fantastic. Technically very good, looks very powerful, still got a good coil between your upper body and your lower body. But look at the difference in the angles in that drill. You've gone from having a really severe angle to a much more sort of passive, a much quieter angle on the way back, something that's going to be a lot more consistent in regards to your ball striking. So after a few minutes working on that, in between hitting shots, what we tended to see was a little bit of an improvement in your overall position at the top. Slightly better foot flow. You can still do it with turning those toes out a little bit. So there's that little bump into the right side. Like I said, not really much to worry about. At the top now, the angle of the shaft in relation to the forearm has changed substantially. You're looking at a sort of 13-degree difference between the two positions. Much wider position at the top, which now will allow you to release that angle a little bit more gradually through the hitting area. And you can see there that 3/4 of the way into your downswing, you're not as fully cocked as you were before, which means the release can be a little bit more passive. What we're looking for, Matty, ideally, is a top of the backswing like you're seeing on the top right, where you've much less wrist hinge. So you start the lesson off, we're seeing a figure of 32 here. During your drill, we're seeing a figure of 63. And in the execution of your shot, after working on the drill, you're seeing a figure of 46. So you're midway between the two. If we can work towards this top right image that we're seeing here, we're going to see a much more gradual, much more consistent release of the golf club, which is going to take spin off the golf ball. That's going to stabilise your ball flight, and it's also going to provide you with a much more consistent club face to impact. So plenty to work on. One thing to work on really, but it has a real good effect on your golf swing. Good luck with it. If you need to know anything else, give us a shout, and if you get stuck with your swing, take a quick video or footage on your phone and send me an email and we can go over it via this service. Well done, mate.